Yeah, hi friends, my name is Chandan and welcome back to my channel Energy and Environment Education. Friends, this is part B of the chapter 2.2, that is boilers. And if you have missed the part A, I have already made a video on part A of this chapter and already uploaded in my channel. So if you have missed that part A, you can go through the part A and then you can come back to part B. Both the parts are equally important because there are a lot of questions you can expect from these two parts of the chapter, friends. And all the aspirants who are looking forward to take exam this year or in coming years, for them this particular chapter, the boiler, is one of the most important chapters, I'm telling you, because you can expect a lot of numericals, a lot of long answer type questions and short answer type questions from this part of chapter, this chapter, friends, the boiler. So please take this chapter very much seriously as far as exam is concerned, friends, and a lot of concepts also need to be understood from this chapter. So it's a very important chapter as far as exam is concerned, friends. So let's start the video today, and hopefully you have enjoyed the other videos also. And if not yet, please go through the other video that I've posted on my channel, friends. Those videos I have made on different chapters which are equally important also, and they are also going to help you out in understanding the concepts and the key areas, or key important questions which you must know for the exam preparation, friends. So please go through the other videos on different chapters that I have made and posted in my channel. Also, please do subscribe my channel if not yet. Also, please do like and comment. Please give your feedback and inputs on my email ID, on my WhatsApp number, or also please comment on this video, friends. So this will help me to understand, your viewpoint, how much you are liking the video, and any loopholes, any gaps is there. So this will help me to mitigate those gaps, friends, and prepare a better video for you in the coming days, friends. So please do share your inputs, thoughts, and feedback, friends. And so let's just start the today's video, and hopefully this video also will be helpful you somehow in your exam preparation, friends. So in this particular video, basically, friends, I'm going to explain you about the boiler types and the classifications. So there are different types of boilers and they're classified into different categories. So that's what I'm going to explain you in this particular video. And this is very much important as far as I'm concerned, because they may ask you to explain the different type of boilers, or they can give you the name of the boiler and will ask you to explain them briefly. So this is very much important part of the chapter, and that's what I'm going to deal with in this particular video, friends. So the first kind of boiler that you can see here, the fire tube boiler. So as the name suggests, you can understand the what type of boiler it is. It is a fire tube boiler where the fire, or the combustion is in the tube part and the water is present at the outer part. Now you can understand one thing, the principle of boiler remains same for all type of boilers. That is basically what is happening here. You are burning the fuel and heating the water in such a way that it turns into steam. So finally you are going to generate the steam. That's what the concern is, and that's what the main agenda is for your in your boiler, friends. So this is the working principle of the any boiler you can consider, friends. Now the way it is burned and how the steam is produced, that can vary from boiler to boiler. So if you see this type of boiler, the fire tube boiler, in this case what happens, basically the burning takes place, burning of the gas, basically it takes place inside the fire tube, and the water is present outside, which it circulates here and outside, and that is then it converts into steam, friends. So fire tube or fire in tube boilers contain long steel tubes through which the hot gases from a furnace pass, and on which the water to be converted to steam circulates. So basically the the burning gas is passed here in the tube, and the water is circulating around the tube, and this water gets converted into a steam, friends. Fire tube boilers typically have a lower initial cost, are more fuel efficient and easier to operate, but they are limited generally to capacities of 25 tons per hour and pressure up to 17.5 kg per centimeter square. So this is very much important to if they ask you to explain the fire tube boiler. So basically you need to understand the working principle of the fire tube boiler, and also this thing also important, this figure is also important. Basically you must understand the limit of the capacity of the fire tube boiler, and also pressure that it can generate, because this can be also asked as a short answer type questions, entire explanation, or as a one word answer type question, objective type question also, friends, can come where they may ask you to do figure out the capacity or the pressure of a fire tube boiler. So it's a very important part of the chapter, friends. Now, if you consider the water tube boiler, it's just opposite of the fire tube boiler. In this case, what is happening here? Inside the tube, the water is present here, and outside the burning takes place or combustion takes place. So, water tube boiler or water in tube boilers, in which the conditions are reversed with the water passing through the tubes and the hot gases passes outside the tubes. Just reverse of the first one, where the fire tube boiler it was inside the gas was passing inside the tube. Here the water is passing inside the tube. Here the gas was water was outside. Here the water is inside and the gas is outside. So just reverse of the fire tube boiler, that you can understand. These boilers can be built to any steam capacities. So if you are asked to compare the water tube boiler with the fire tube boiler, you can see here the fire tube boiler has some limitations up to 25 TPA something. But here this thing, the inside the in case of the water tube boiler, there is no capacity limitations and pressures and have higher efficiencies than the fire tube boilers. So this is a major difference between the water tube boiler and the fire tube boiler. So they may ask you either to differentiate between the water tube boiler and the fire tube boiler, or they may ask you separately to explain the water tube boiler or the fire tube boiler, friends. So this is very much important for you to understand. Now comes the third type, the packaged boiler. The packaged boiler is so called because it comes as a complete package. So as the name suggests, or you must understand what it is all about. It's in a complete package. You're getting everything here. So this is called the packaged boiler. Once delivered to site, it requires only the steam, water pipe work, fuel supply, and electrical connections to be made to become operational. So everything is happening at a single location, single place. It's in a package form. You can say the burning takes place there only. The steam is generated in the same equipment, friends. So there is no separate equipment is there for the for different functioning. So everything is done at a single place, single equipment, friends. So it's called a package boilers. Package boilers are generally of shell type with fire tube design so as to achieve high heat transfer rates by both radiation and the convection. So basically the features of package boiler, they may ask you in a question to explain what is package boiler all about and name the some of the features of package boilers. So in that case you can understand this thing. Basically small combustion space, it is having a high heat release rate resulting in faster evaporation is the first feature of the package boiler. Second thing is a large number of small diameter tubes leading to good convective heat transfer. Third is the forced or induced draft system resulting in good combustion efficiencies. So all these things you have to remember, friends, and learn it. Number of passes resulting in a better overall heat transfer. Higher thermal efficiency levels compared with the other boilers. So basically these are some of the 5 features here which distinguish between, you can separate this package boiler from the other boilers. So once you write in an exam about the package boiler, so these features also, if you explain it a bit, that will be helpful for the to have a better exam answer in the exam, friends. So it's very much important as far as I'm concerned. Now there are other boilers also which is categorized as how you feed the fuel. Like suppose a stoker fired boiler. In this case, stokers are classified according to the method of feeding fuel. This is much important, very much important term. How the fuel is fed inside the boiler. So you are not concerned showing here the how the steam is generated here. We are only concerned about the how the fuel is fed inside the combustion chamber of the boiler. So that is more important here. So basically there are two types of stoker fired boiler. The first one is chain grade or traveling grade, and the other one is a spreader stoker. So these are two types of stoker fired boiler, where the category of you can say differentiate the boiler from other boilers basically on the terms of how you feed the fuel inside the furnace of the boiler. So chain grade or traveling grade stoker boiler, here the coal is fed at one end of a moving steel chain grade. So you can see here from one end the coal is fed here and it carries to the inside the chamber of the or you can say furnace chamber, friends, where the burning is taking place or combustion taking place. So coal is fed at one end of a moving steel chain grate. As grate moves along the length of the furnace, the coal burns before dropping off as a ash. So it's not very much difficult to understand this concept, friends. What is happening here is we are not showing here the steam part. We are just showing here the combustion part, because the entire concept of this boiler or the working principle of the boiler is basically, or the category of this boiler is basically defined with the help of feeding fuel. So the way you feed the fuel inside the boiler chamber, you can say furnace chamber of the boiler, that is only your concern. You can categorize this boiler all about. So you see here the fuel or the coal is fed from one end and it passes through the entire furnace chamber, and it passes, once it moves on, it starts burning and finally it drops off as an ash. This is what the principle all about the chain grade or traveling grade stoker boiler, friends. Now coming to the spreader stoker boiler, this is also important and very much easy to understand, but it has a working principle a bit different in the other one that I showed in the last slide. Basically, what's happening here is that you are feeding the coal as a suspension, because here burning takes place in two ways here. One is at the grate. This is the grate here, and the other one is the suspension part. So when the lighter fuel or the coal particles, smaller coal particles are burned in suspension here, and the heavier part of the coal uh, comes to bed where the burning takes place, the coal bed you can say here. So basically what is happening here, splitter stoker utilize a combination of suspension burning and grate burning. That's what I said. This is the suspension burning here taking place, and this is the grate burning taking place. The coal is continually fed to the furnace above a burning bed of coal. The coal fins are burned in suspension. So whatever coal fins are there, that is burned here in suspension, while heavier parts are come to the coal bed where the burning takes taking place, friends. So this method of firing provides good flexibility to meet load fluctuations, since ignition is almost instantaneous when firing rate is increased. So basically what is happening here, as soon as you feed the fuel here, it starts burning, because there are two types of burning taking place. It doesn't wait for the grate to burn. The suspension part of the fuel starts burning, the fins start burning here, and you can it helps you to any load fluctuation is going on there, so it helps you to meet the load fluctuation, friend, in this case. So this type of burning is very much important, and this is a process is very much important to understand, friends. Hence the spreader stoker is favored over other types of stokers in many industrial applications. This is the reason why this type of burning is very much efficient enough, and also preferred other than the other burning type, friends, that I have discussed. So this is the spreader stoker boiler, friends, that you must understand for the exam point of view. Again, another important type of boiler is the pulverized fuel boiler. If you see the name only, you will understand what is all about. Basically, what's happening here, you are using a pulverized fuel. This means any fuel that you are using, like coal, if you are using it, you are using in a fine powder form. You are first of all pulverizing the coal, then you are feeding into the boiler chamber or burning chamber, friends. So if you see the most coal-fired power station boilers of pulverized coal, and many of the larger industrial water tube boilers also use this pulverized fuel. So basically what's happening here, you are using the fine powdered form of the coal in when you use it in a burning furnace, friends. The pulverized coal is blown with part of the combustion air inside the boiler plant through a series of burner nozzles. Secondary and tertiary air may also be added. Combustion takes place at temperature from 1300 to 1700 degrees centigrade, depending largely on the coal grade. So basically what's happening here, you are using the fine powdered form of the coal while feeding inside the burning chamber, and the temperature here is around 1300 degrees centigrade to 1700 degrees centigrade. This is also an important part for you to understand. Basically may exam in the exam also they may ask you as a one word type question, or fill up the blank question. Also they may ask you to explain the entire pulverized fuel boiler. Then also you should understand the working principle of the boiler, where the coal is basically used as a fine powder form, and then it is fed inside the combustion chamber. This system has many advantages, such as ability to fire, varying quality of coal, quick responses to changes in load, use of high preheat air temperatures. These are some of the advantages of this pulverized fuel boiler. So basically they may also ask either to explain the entire thing, that is the pulverized fuel boiler working principle and the advantages, or they may only ask you to give the examples or the advantages of the pulverized fuel boiler, friends. So you must understand and you must also learn it, remember it, these type of advantages of the pulverized fuel boiler. So now another type of boiler is the abrasive boiler. This is an important type of boiler, because as far as exam is concerned, number of times questions have come from this part of the chapter. They have asked you to explain the working principle of the abrasive boiler, or the entire concept of the abrasive boiler, or you can say write short notes on the abrasive boiler, friends. So you must understand this entire concept of the abrasive boiler. So let's see what is happening here inside the chamber. When an evenly distributed air or gas is passed upward through a finely divided bed of solid particles such as sand supported in a fine mesh, the particles are undistributed at low velocity. So starting when you are passing air at a low velocity, so what happens, this sand particle inside the chamber remains calm, and it doesn't move. But as the air velocity is gradually increased, so once you are increasing the velocity of the air inside, so what happening here, uh, is gradually increased. A stage is reached when the individual particles are suspended in the airstream. Further increase in the velocity gives rise to bubble formation. So once you start increasing this air velocity, and then what happens, it starts creating turbulence inside the chamber. The entire sand particles gets comes into state of turbulence, friends. Vigorous turbulence and rapid mixing at the bed is to be fluidized. At that time we call it the entire bed as to be you call it as a fluidized bed. Now, if the sand in a fluidized state is heated to the ignition temperature of the coal, now from the other end you are feeding the coal here, and since the entire turbulence you have created here inside this chamber, the sand particles are in a turbulent stage. So at that time, a lot of frictions going on inside the chamber between the sand particles, which creates the heat. Also, you are feeding the coal from other end. So what's happening? The coal starts burning here, and once the coal starts burning, this leads to the this water inside the tube starts converting into steam with the temperature rise, friends. So if the sand in the fluid state heated to ignition temperature of coal, and the coal is injected continuously to the bed, the coal will burn rapidly, and the bed attains a uniform temperature due to effective mixing. Proper air distribution is vital for maintaining the uniform fluidization across the bed. So this is what the concept is. Ash is disposed by dry and wet disposal methods. So ash is coming out from here. So basically, what's happening here? You understood now how the air is getting air is passed, and the velocity of the air is slowly increased, which is leading to the turbulence inside the chamber. The sand particles is coming into the turbulent stage, which is now called as a fluidized state, you can say. And then coal is also fed from other side. This coal starts burning, and this leads to the water temperature, temperature of the water increase, which ultimately converts into steam, friends, and comes out from here. And also ash is coming out from here, friends. This is the entire concept of the ABC boiler that you must understand. Also, you must write in an exam if it comes. Fluidized bed combustion has a significant advantages over conventional firing systems and offer multiple benefits, namely fuel flexibility, reduction, reduce emission of noxious pollutants, SOx NOx. So SOx NOx is, this is very much important in the exam. Also, number of times it has come, which type of boiler where the minimum SOx emission is taking place. So in this case, FBC boiler is the correct answer, and compact boiler design also is there, higher combustion efficiency, more. So this is thing the concept you must understand here. Also, the SOx NOx part is coming again and again in the exam as an objective type question, friends. So this may be very much important for you to understand entire concept and the working principle, and the advantages of the IBC boiler, friends, and the SOx NOx part. So this may come in the exam, you must understand, friends. So now let's understand the supercritical boiler is also important as far as I am concerned, because number of times questions have asked, they have asked you to explain the supercritical boiler or the working principle of supercritical boiler or the concept of supercritical boiler also, or write short notes on supercritical boiler, friends. So basically you must understand the concept. In the temperature entropy diagram of a steam, a point is reached where the boiling point of water and dry saturated steam line converge, and at that point the latent heat is zero. The critical point corresponds to a pressure of 221 bar absolute and temperature of 374.18 degrees centigrade. So basically, when the at a time when the pressure is this much and the temperature is this much, if water is heated beyond above condition, if the water is heated beyond temperature of this much and the pressure of this much, steam parameters are referred to as supercritical. A boiler producing steam above the critical pressure, this is a critical pressure, is called a supercritical boiler. And basically, while supercritical boiler has three distinct distinctions: economizer, evaporator, and superheater, the supercritical boiler has only an economizer and superheater. So this is also a difference between the supercritical and subcritical boiler. They may ask you in the exam, friends. The advantages of supercritical boilers are higher heat transfer rate, more flexible in accepting load variations, greater ease of operation, high thermal efficiency. The absence of two-phase mixture minimizes the problems of erosion and corrosion, and steadier pressure levels. So these are some of the advantages of supercritical boilers. So they may also ask you to briefly explain supercritical boiler all about, and also the advantages of supercritical boiler. So this is the only concept you must understand here. When the temperature or the pressure is more than this much, then you can call it the boiler as a supercritical boiler. This is the concept, and also advantages you must list it here. You must remember the some of at least 5 advantages of the supercritical boiler that you may write in the exam when it comes, friends. So with this I'm ending the part B, friends. So I hope this part B has given you some insight about the different type of boilers that I have tried to explain you in a very simple manner, in a very brief manner, and also with easy explanations, friends. So I hope these things will be help you in the exam also. Other video I'm also making on this chapter, basically part C, will be now followed by this part B. So please be connected with me. Please do watch other videos also that I'm going to upload in coming days, and hopefully this was video also will be helpful for you and will be help you in preparing your exam in a better way, friends. And before you leave, friends, please do connect with me. This is my mobile number, this is my email ID. Any feedback, any inputs if you have in your mind, please do not hesitate to share with me, because unless until you share your inputs, I won't be able to understand whether the video that I'm making is really fruitful for you, is helping you anyhow or not. So please do, connect with me. Also please do share your inputs on my email ID or my WhatsApp number, friends. Also please do subscribe my channel, which will really motivate me to prepare more such videos in coming days. And also please do press the bell icon so that you get the instant notification as soon as I post a new video. So this is my YouTube channel, Energy and Environment Education. Please do search if not yet, and also please do subscribe on my regional channel. Also please press the bell icon, friends. Please also share with your friends and colleagues, whomever you think is helping them also in their exam preparation. And also please like and put your valuable comments, friends, in the video concerned. That's all for today, friends. Let's meet in another video that I'm going to post in coming days, friends.